Alrighty then, it looks like we are on. Let me go ahead and play the intro for today.
Click up, cause if you're looking for a better day, build and destroy is the only way. Cause if you're looking for a better day, build and destroy is the only way. Cause if you're looking for a better day, build and destroy is the only way. The only way.
Yeah.
You like the little chop together real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just put that together today.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Nah, we're going to get something much better. A little bit longer. We're going to get something custom. But that was, AWOL says build and destroy a bunch of times. And it's a good kind of, it's almost like a good outro, honestly.
That's like a DJ Premier scratch hook.
Yeah.
Well,
yes, we're back in here, ladies and gentlemen. The Build and Destroy show every Sunday around 5. We go live that specific time. Make sure you subscribe. I'm not even trying to rhyme. It's accidental. What's up, y'all?
What's cracking?
Oh, my brother.
Cracking.
Well, look, I figured you guys had the most pressing items to jump off with your hip hop conversation. I don't really have a lot of input on the folks you guys mentioned.
Yeah, man. I listen to music so much every day. I always give new folks listens. I give my old folks listens. I'm open. I'm always consuming. Ferocious. Every day. I want to give a shout out personally to SonnyJim. Just one of my topics today was I just wanted to give a shout out to people that they just been trucking along doing their thing, regardless if eyes are on them or not. SonnyJim from the UK, just steady. He reminds me of Rock Marcy as far as the grind goes. Just the creation, and then just let it absorb. Let the masses absorb it, really. And then you go back to the Bat Cave, and then you work on your next plot. And I really like that style, where they drop, and then they retreat, and then drop and retreat. SonnyJim got a good flow that he could almost say is his sound. He don't really deviate from it, and that's back to that authenticity thing. Like, he's not going to be on a trap beat. He's going to do his thing and stay in his lane. And I appreciate that in an artist.
Where's he from?
He's from the UK.
Oh, you did say that.
Yeah.
I need to check him.
He underground, but he's associated with peoples that he's got projects with Kev Brown. He's got verses with J Electronica, MF Doom. He's got the collabs and he hangs with them guys. And the production is gritty and good.
What's his name again?
With loops, SonnyJim. SonnyJim.
Okay.
And yeah, he kind of does what I've been doing too, as far as like the 6-7 song project, where it's more bite-sized morsel. And not to say he probably couldn't do something longer, but he obviously found his bag. He just throws out these little dishes, these little hot plates. And I like it.
I like that too.
And I like Jim Jones's new effort too. There's stuff on there I don't like, but there's shit on there I do like a lot.
Young man around?
What's that?
The oldest young man?
Yeah, he's got like that uncle energy, but it's not corny. Like, he's still cool.
Well, he can rap is the thing.
Yeah,
Like some might argue that he is corny, but I think the reason why he's still a thing is that even if you were to think he was corny, it's hard to deny that he's got his own way of rapping, and it is dope.
yeah, not even him. It's other people that try to do that look corny. But when he does it, it's not. Like I don't know. When he was going up against Locks for verses, I was going for Dipset. And it wasn't on no rap shit. Like I knew Locks was gonna out rap them, but I went just for the swaggy, like the showy part of me went for that just because I like Harlem for that.
Yeah,
I like the Harlem energy.
right.
Even though I know Locks was gonna wipe him up with the rhymes and all that. Like I knew it. But something about Dipset and that bravado and Jim, he's been really consistent the whole time.
I agree. He got better with age.
Yeah, I'm not mad at Jim Jones at all, regardless of what's happening. Like, squads beef, argue, whatever, but just him as an artist, I like what he does in the studio. He knows how to make songs and albums.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
It's funny to see Cameron make fun of him, though.
It is. And that shit like only they would know, right? That's like,
both are true.
yeah, I love watching two people being true at the same time and wrong at the same time.
What was the other guys you guys wanted to talk about?
Well, I sent a few reels of shout out Ant from Savage Fam, and
Yes.
I don't know. Did you if y'all listen to those? It's like he cut up the song into 3 different reels, and man, that one just hit me hard.
He's another one that's aged like wine.
Word.
When I moved out to Squaxin Reservation, he was one of the people that came out to the res. They had a little music program going on. They had native instruments when it first came out. That's a little beat machine that hooks up to the computer software. But Savage Family came out there and did a little music workshop with the kids, the youth.
Mm.
I went there knowing that he was going to be there, and I brought him a CD, gave him a CD. He listened to it, and he said, man, you sound like Raz Kaz or something like that. We sat and kicked it for a little bit. He was filming for other stuff. He's always been real active in the community, multiple communities. So shouts to him for keeping it steady and keeping it going, and he's getting better with time. And he promotes his culture too, to the death.
Yeah, I like how he comes at it.
It's almost like radical. It's almost radical in a sense.
Hell yeah.
It's on that end of the spectrum as far as being indigenous.
Man, I think it's unapologetically radical.
Yeah, like it's some of his old videos is like that, man. He's like, I don't even let my kids play sports. Like he goes deep with it.
And then a lot of times people are on it all political, and their music doesn't really match how hard they go on it. They go at it politically, but oh no, like for him in that last song, it's just like he's so political, but then musically it's so fire.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing like hokey about it, you know, like
he updated the flow. He was able to update like a lot of the native rappers out here. they have a certain cadence and flow to it.
Yeah.
And he just, I would love to see that he upgraded and updated. Like he's a good current native MC.
Yeah, he really
A lot
is.
of them get stuck in a sound, man. I'm telling you, out here, it's easy to get stuck in a certain sound.
Mm-hmm. Even that beat he chose, it's not like the stereotypical like I'm native, I'm banging against the system type beat. That shit is just such a loop, such an emotional loop. I just thought it really hit hard. It's so smooth too, though. But the other thing I sent in was that West Side Gun song, because that guy Estee Nack is on there, and he's from some little place outside of Boston, one of those little grimy spots.
Yeah, I liked Dreamin' off that West Side album. There's a song called Dreamin', and it has, I don't know, I gotta figure out the music theory because I'm a sucker for certain chords and notes. I'm noticing, and like all my favorite songs and sounds, they tend to have a similar like progression or similar notes.
I've noticed that about myself too.
I'm like, yeah, I gotta find the music way to explain that to people.
One thing that I'm a sucker for is if there's a consistent noise throughout the whole beat that never stops, I'm hooked. Like, like if they have a whistle going but it never stops or something.
Yeah, like
a frequency. It catches me.
Yeah. I've been watching some producer videos and they're always talking about like atmosphere and sweeps and stuff like that. And
one I always hear him talk about is how I'll like a beat that has a musical setup and then like, I'm just totally making this up, but like a boom, 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 and then like a boom. Mm-hmm. That's just what I made up. But like, so your brain, it's like every time that first part comes in, you're waiting for that second part to come in, and when it happens, you're happy. It's fulfilling. And I notice that happens to me. I fall for that. If there's a beat that does that, that works on me.
You get satisfied?
Yeah.
The feeling of satisfaction from the bing?
Yeah, it's like a completion of like a musical note. You know, it's a scale. Yeah. And if they hit the three out of the four, and then they wait a second, and then some other noise, some other part of the sample or beat or whatever hits the last part, that's satisfying. You expect that.
I got you.
And I just thought that guy raps cool. He comes in crazy like a freaking car crash. You know what I mean? He's just like he's just sliding all over into it.
Yeah, that is my favorite.
It's like I love people who come in a way that I'm like, whoa, I never would have done it that way.
You said he came in like a car crash?
Like sliding, like on some ice, out of control.
That's what I've been thinking a lot about. Like, I never wanted it to permeate my writing, but I've been thinking about, because I always come in on the 2, and I'm like, it's standard to come in on the 1, and it's standard to kind of set up the punchline to land on the 4.
Yeah.
And there's certain technicians of that art, like Chino XL, he had it down to a science where it was written deliberately for the beat. And his verse was hitting at certain points where the instruments were hitting on purpose.
Yeah.
Where me, I'm always like, it's a double dutchy thing where I'm kind of waiting and then I hop in. But I notice that's my natural thing is to come in on two. But I've been writing and been fucking around with coming in on the one and fucking around with the one flow. And it's fun too. But I notice every time I do the two stuff, whenever I'm collaborating, it might get plugged in at the wrong time. And it basically feels like what is on time to me is off time to others. But it'll still be on time. So it's like there's like these polyrhythms I'm learning where it's like everybody's hearing this certain rhythm, standard rhythm, but then there's people that jump and play with the rhythms in between the rhythms.
No, that's happened to me before where I meant to come in on the two and the person was like, the engineer was like, moved it later.
Yeah, and it kind of messed up the whole, that one little nudge.
Of course it does, yeah.
Yeah, like it all falls out.
Yeah, that's not what I intended.
So yeah, there's this deliberate thing with this timing and this musicality where stuff may seem off, but it's on. But people have to give that stuff a chance to live. It's just when it doesn't sound standard at first, that's already throwing them off.
Imagine if an engineer would have done that to Doom. Every single one of his songs would have sounded different.
Yeah, like that's why the Dilla beats were nuts, because upon first listen, it sounds standard, but you listen back, and there's a lot of weird shit happening underneath that. And that's what people are hooked on. It's what was happening when they dug deeper. When they found that more shit was going on, they're like, oh, this is good. It was when there was stuff beyond the surface. You could bait niggas in with the surface, but then when they want to start digging and there's nothing there, it may get tossed away like fast food. But when you got shit that you can keep digging and uncovering, like, yo, this nigga did a rhythm within a rhythm, or he did all the syllables like this, or Mickey Fax, he wrote a whole song with no letter E in it, stuff like that.
Oh, whoa. I like that dude, though. I didn't know he did that, but...
Yeah, that's how we're pushing it. Where if I wrote a song with no letter E and then you heard it, but you never pointed that out to me until I told you, that's what it's about. A lot of people heard songs like that and they didn't know what was going on until somebody told them.
Yeah.
And then they're like, holy shit, I have a deeper appreciation. And then a lot of the fans find it on their own. They're like, wait, this guy was doing stuff within stuff.
Yeah, that's that technical.
Yeah, shout to Mickey Fax, man, writing the song with no letter E up in there.
That's crazy.
And it was inspired by a book that was the same way. It was written in that way. And it's one of them things you don't notice when you're just reading through it.
If it's done well, yeah.
Yeah, and then somebody might tell you, like, hey, you realize there was no letter E in that, right? And then that might blow your mind because a lot of people can't form a sentence without letter E.
No, it's definitely a technical feat, you know. And I think
it's like the Nas song you were talking about last week, the backwards song.
Now,
to me, that's a technical feat.
Yeah, that's brain cells.
One time I was listening to an interview of how Razkaz talked about how he wrote Nature of the Threat. And one time I had to write this crazy ass long spoken word poem for the Tacoma History Museum. And it was a whole deal for this big event they had. I was getting paid. It was a commission piece, and it was the most cheddar I ever got off off any one thing of art. But you know, it was basically, I'll try to write a poem of like the history of the world, the history of racism, you know? It's like an impossible feat. It's so long. I had to take the books of everything and then lay them in order, in chronological order, on the floor of my house, or on the floor of where I was living, from the beginning of time till present. Everything you could go through in terms of racism, from like Africa to like whatever was going on in the 90s and shit, you know? And that's what Razcast said he did for that song. And sometimes you gotta put it in a visual thing and then take a snapshot so it's in your brain, so then you can see it and start, and at least know where to start.
I agree with that, man. That was pre-Google.
It was.
Yeah, that was hardcore research. And
yeah, it was like had to go to the library. Like,
yeah, that was like the cite your sources time.
Yeah.
Like bibliography days.
The Dewey Decimal System.
That's what's funny too. Like every time somebody thinks like, oh, this guy's saying some controversial shit, like, oh, it's like, yo, I'm just saying what I read. I'm just saying it in a fly way, but this ain't my idea. I'm just relaying this stuff to you. So if it's bullshit, then talk it up with the person that put it up in them libraries.
What libraries? That's what's gonna be people's question here very soon. What's a library?
I peeped the new library wicket. I rolled up in there and got me a card.
I wonder if my card still works. I need to get a new one. But I don't be checking out books like that. I could just go to the back room, you know.
Yeah.
Go to the back.
No, they be having good music in there in the libraries.
They do. They got movies. They do. They got.
I was getting CDs and then ripping them on the computer.
Bro, you was not the only one doing that.
Yeah, but the world music and all that stuff.
Yeah, I wasn't doing all that, but
yeah, that was like a little secret destination to get samples.
No, I remember I got the Pharaoh Monch Desire from there.
I love Pharaoh Monch.
I'm trying to think of what else I did go get from the library. I got a few joints from there, but that's the one that I remember off top because I liked it. That whole CD was, I thought it was a good shoot. That joint was probably only like 8 or 9 songs. It wasn't a lengthy project.
Yeah, 10.
10?
11 is the magic number for. It went back then. It went to the days of the vinyl. The less amount of songs, the better quality of the vinyl, because there's more room for the waves. So it's like you have 5 on one side, 5 on the other. The more you try to cram songs onto a vinyl, you're going to compromise the sound quality. So some of these songs or some of these albums that have like 12, 13, they may still throw it on a double just to save the quality.
Oh, it actually had 13.
Yeah, like them singles.
Now, why you get bonus tracks in the UK? Quality. Tell me why. Why does the UK get bonus tracks on their CDs?
And I was learning how the album is really a bunch of projects that go into one folder, and that is the album. That's the artist's album.
I think nowadays, sure.
So yeah, like that's another vinyl thing where your projects are little morsels that go into this main thing, and then that's the whole dish.
Yeah.
So these little 5-6 song projects, you throw 5 or 6 of those in one folder and that's an album.
Yeah, a pack.
Yeah. So I'm sure there's a way to freak it now that it's all digital, but that may be what like playlists are, I guess now. Because some people are like, yo, this ain't an album, this is a playlist, or this is a mix. But it's still ultimately going to the same artist archive.
I think it's more, all those strategies is more about how do you draw attention. At the end of the day, most artists are trying to get more people to listen to their music. Unless you're already big and you have your solidified fan base, you're trying to get more people to listen. If you already have your fan base, they're tapped in. You put a post up on your Instagram, hey, the new project's dropping, they're there. But it's who else? How do you get the other people to listen if you're interested in that? Me, I don't think, well, I can't speak for you guys, but I would definitely not be satisfied on the amount of people that have had an opportunity to hear my music based on organic growth. Like, it takes marketing and advertising and a push behind it to get the music in front of people's face. Even people that's in your own circle normally are not just bumping your new songs when they come out. There might be a few people, but for the most part, it takes effort to get your art in front of people to consume it. It takes strategy to get your artwork. It is not even in music. If you're a painter, people aren't just going to show up to your house to look at your paintings. You know, if you're a sculptor, if you're a poet, you have to get to events or find a way to do your poetry, whether it's live or maybe you write poetry and you need to somehow get it in the newspaper or in, I don't know, a book. I don't know how you'd get your poetry out now, but it takes an effort beyond the art itself. That's some shit I did not really want to accept for a long time, like probably until last 3 or 4 years of even if you're not interested in actually making, like a living off of it, I still want more people to listen to my songs. Even if I ain't getting no check from Spotify.
Yeah.
I still want to get my stuff out there more. Like, it is what it is. So now that there's that effort that gets added on to the project, which should have been there before, but we don't have, trainers and people teaching us like, yo, you got to put 3 times as much energy into marketing and promoting your project as you do into making it. Nobody tells you that. Where's your budget at? Nobody tells you to have a budget coming in.
That's all it boils down to. I think 50 Cent is the one that, at least for the hood, he blew the lid on that. He's like, America's all about promotion and marketing. Once he got up in the room with those folks and he seen how they work and how they do business, he came back and he relayed the message to us on the grind. He's like, everything is marketing and advertising. That's all USA has ever been. Everything is for sale. Like that's how we rock over here in USA, is everything's for sale. And
well,
how
the
are you
thing
going
is,
to market it?
I at a certain point, there's products competing against each other. There's not just 1 or 2 toothpastes. There's 15, and but at that level in business, oftentimes the cheater wins. Because they can figure out some backdoor way to get the market share. I mean, that's why there's a term for it, the market share. Once you grab the market share, that means it's a certain percentage of the overall buying dollar amount in your industry. So, I mean, if we're relating that to music, it's like Spotify knows out of America, there's X amount of hours that will listen to hip hop. Like there's already a number on the hours. Is how are those hours allocated to what artists? So in order for you to get listens on that platform, you have to ultimately pull some of the hours away from other artists. Which, I mean, it's a competition.
Yeah, and that's why these guys make shorter projects. Because when it's shorter, the shorter songs encourage replay value.
Marvelous.
I think it's also easier to make a cohesive project when it's shorter, to make it make sense.
I notice certain really big artists will make songs or albums really short on purpose, just because they know they're going to run it up like that, replay wise. I noticed that as a hack long time ago, before this shit was happening on like SoundCloud days. Like, I noticed when songs turn from 3:44 minutes to 2 minutes 2:30, that shit happened. It was like lockstep. All the songs got shorter suddenly.
Yeah.
And it felt like that was their, whether it worked or not, that was their attempt at trying to hack the digital system. They're like, well, shit, if it's about plays, I'm going to make the shit shorter, whether it's an angry replay or a happy replay. They're going to replay it back to hear it again.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunately that's part of the game, competition business. Like, everyone's trying to get more people to see their stuff. Or nowadays, I think they look at it different because it's the spins and the views.
The deluxe is like a standard thing now. Everybody has a deluxe. It'll be the same thing, put a few extra joints on there. That's to encourage the replay of the former songs on top of the new ones. But they try to squeeze the blood out of the rock with these digital projects. They try to milk it as long as they can.
I mean, they used to work these the regular albums back in the day. They would work them albums for a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, and they got the merch. They tie in the merch bundles and stuff with the album sales. So that's almost standard too, is not only do you have your online digital album, but you have to have merch to go with it. And that can count as a sale itself.
I still think too, even though there's so many different circles out there, that you gotta break into the circle that you want to be a part of. And when it comes down to it, it's still the same old-fashioned way. You've got to get noticed by somebody already in that sphere of the realm that you want to be a part of. You whether it be still tracking them down after a show, or narrowing down your marketing to a few of these DJs that are dealing with the artists that you want to be parallel to. I still think you have to go in there. It's still the old school way. You still have to get them to play your shit, or say yes to being on a verse, or something like that. Like this at like Rome Streets or Estee Nack, these guys, they still had to somehow get into that that Griselda realm. And when it came down to it, they still had to do that in an old school way, through a show, through a network, through an actual factual meeting. So I still think that's a big part of it.
Well put.
You know, like, I would love to be a part of that circle. I don't think it's going to happen until I insert myself into that circle physically.
No.
Through actual time and space. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think Peter Rosenberg is going to play Build and Destroy if I just email it to him. That ain't going to happen. I'm going to have to go to New York and press him. And until the person that wants to get on does that, then it's harder. Then, yeah, you got to rely on a miracle of creating your own wave on the internet. And to me, that's not reliable. That's not something you can count on. That's some lucky shit. That's some shit that happens to some people and doesn't happen for some people. But if you go out and meet people and demand to be seen and heard by the people that are in the scene that you want to be a part of, that's real. That will always work.
If you have talent.
True. True. I guess that goes without saying.
Don't just say always.
Yeah.
There's a lot of.
I'm honestly meant for us.
So, well, our show, there's a couple people that might watch it, so let's think of them as well.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, for us, like, to get into the rapping circles that we would want to, at least that I see it going into.
Hey, look, I mean, that just accentuates my point. It's just more about me growing up. I never really wanted to accept this fact of putting in some extra effort. Like, you want to just show up and rap. Like, yeah. But any other additional hip hop related before? Because I'm I definitely don't want to get to our next topic. But I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about it. But I think we should go to our halftime break on that before we come back, since we're getting to
halftime
deep.
Let's do it.
All right.
Are you talking about the older self, younger self thing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. What do you think about seeing if my kids want to answer that too?
Hey, yeah.
From that perspective.
It's a good meditation for anybody.
Right? Because okay. I'll see if they're available. Who knows what they're up to, but I'll go check it out. Halftime, love.
All right, well, we're going to go with this for our halftime break. A repeat of one of our joints. Oh, let me change up the camera angle. Hold on. What's going on? Oh, yeah. Here we go. We'll bring it over a little bit there. We'll be back in about, 10 of them? Is it playing? We're not playing? It's not playing. It is playing, but it's not playing. What in the world? Ooh, I think it has something to do with my...
Yeah, I'm learning in this life, you got to keep your inner child happy too. He's still in there, and you got to do things to please him as well as you in this adult body and all. You gotta please that inner child. You gotta do things that made you as a child happy.
Well, man, I don't know what it is. What's popping on? It's not. SoundCloud ain't playing. I know it's from the last time I shared. So we're gonna have to throw Audibleistic. Here we go. We got a playlist ready. Halftime. We're going back to November with this one.
Yeah.
The AWOL mix. If I can get them all selected. No, we ain't gonna go with that. That's too many songs. We gotta get a good relative around about 10-minute selection for you guys. So let me get this on point. 1, 2, 3. We'll do this one. Oh, this got a lot. We'll throw it up. We'll do new devices. What's that? 5. We're at 8 and 9. Okay, we'll go just over. We'll go 11 minutes. 11 minutes. Yes, we came prepared today. I did, but guess not. Not as prepared as I thought. New devices. And Fred Hampton. All right, let's try that again.
Please listen carefully.
Yeah.
Please stand up.
Holla. Signing in. 9 days going my way. Pre-portal, you can see a steam in the morals. On the Amanita Muscara, on the Bahamadia. This the quantified feature. Watch the opulent try and keep up. While I've been chopping like Cleaver much. No need to discuss, don't read for the puff. Not closed in the sheet of discuss. Stop rolls not prestigious enough. Rock slow, I need a leader of luck. Side order of abundance. Peace and prosperity for the hunted. Look out for me like alchemy from one kid. Foiled over assumption Sunday. Said tales from sunflare.
You bout to see we rise up and fools become obsolete. Best be mindful of all obstacles. Triangle offense, gunpowder, release power. Familiar with lead showers, but not into White Houses. Trinaudo, divine outgrowth, toenail ingrown like outro. Cut out those acting funny style, the grouchos. Stockpile drivers, spiderweb pros, mile high gloves, pantyhose and wire hangers to make your mic glow. Light bulb, strike gold with rhyming words, but we throw lightning bolts. Find the burnt skulls. Finally learned mode and lines in the dirt scroll. Finally learned mode and lines in the dirt scroll.
Yeah. What we got? What we got? AWOL, aka TP's and me, wicked meticulous, cat heat.
Look, I got an angel tatted on my back, sipping on this cognac, sucker ducking niggas cause these niggas don't know how to act. I keep it real from day one and that's a fact. Never switching up, never was raised like that. Black olive in the garden, beg my pardon, I'm growing. Ain't nothing new, they out here hating and I'm knowing. When people say he keep it G, I'm the one that's showing. Let me ride like Dr. Dre while the chronic be blowing. Picture me rolling, drama free, no negative round me. Simple and plain, stay in my lane, I'm about to drain my energy. Who is he? A kid from the TAC. Acronym, that's AWOL City. One love to the OGs that showed me the ropes. 88 razor blade on the play, they wall is dope.
It's halftime, y'all. It's halftime, y'all. We gonna be back in about 8 minutes.
Our whole vibes on beat, not
8 minutes.
Don't wanna hear
back
shit,
in about
not one
8
single
minutes.
word. Thinking you can bring us down, that's absurd. Walking our path, we won't be detoured. Our whole vibes on beat, not get disturbed. Don't wanna hear shit, not one single word. Thinking you can bring us down, that's absurd. Walking our path, we won't be detoured. Only share 1/3 of the moves you make it, and be prepared for a bunch of the fools to hate them. That's the way the game goes, you can't change it. Plain clothes, police, and frozen bank statements. Taking a loss as part of the process. Don't pardon passion, be proud of your progressing. Peep opponents creeping slowly up on you. Take screenshots before they delete the poster. Child Sesame Street to skid rowers. Tactical weaponry protecting the home front. More than just mustard and college growing. Ground's got good genetics with seed sowing, so I don't need no one except emulation. And a couple ranches, maybe that's the whole squad. Close the window blinds and turn the phone off. Respect the sign that's hanging from the doorknob.
Ooh. What's that?
We got to know your educational program to find out what it's going to be in Cincinnati. A lot of people work. Yo Mo Kenyatta is called not a method revolutionary, but an ex-revolutionary. So it's top of top. They brought on successful revolutionary thing, and the miles was a bit. Fancy freedom fighters, all that kind of action. What we're saying is the end. But you don't judge Castro now. You can't do it. Nobody in this room can judge whether Castro's going to be a revolutionary or not. You know what I mean? We're talking about things, you know what I mean, with China, the People's Republic, and even as the states in now, talking about even going on further into a communistic state. That's what we're talking about. Those
Earth on fire when they trying to start a riot. But a revolution and praying to the highest ain't the same as stacking up bullets and glass bottles and learning how to make cocktails, mixologists. We all stars, no astrologists. White dwarfs imploding, trying to suck us all up in. Hold your breath, save up oxygen. Whole world underwater, octopus. Spark like flint rocks with pocket lint. Rage against the machine with a hotter flame. Stock trade on New York Stock Exchange. Prison labor strike, it's not a game. The common names we got deny those. And keep walking in line with a blindfold in a rat race. Grind till your mind's gone. You do you and we gon' You better watch your circle. The ones next to you try to hurt you. Think you dinner try to serve you. Patience is a virtue. You better watch your circle. The ones next to you try to hurt you. Think you dinner try to serve you. Patience is a virtue. Look, stay to myself, stay solid. Read books, absorb that knowledge. Self-taught, never went to college. My neighborhood ain't by Mr. Rogers. Since day one, they trying to stop us. Hopping fences, ducking helicopters. Grew up playing cops and robbers. My own man grew up without my father. Don't cry now, why bother? I got sons and daughters. Teach them that honor. Respect life, not them dollars. Homie got hit with a chopper. Life is too short, is what it offers. Time to come proper. Feet kicked up in the office. You better watch your circle. The ones next to you try to hurt you. Think you dinner try to serve you. Patience is a virtue. You better watch your circle. The ones next to you try to hurt you. Think you dinner try to serve you. Patience is a virtue. Pass it around, circle versus ellipses. Purposes making words stick in your mental. Pack a bunch of rounds in a sick Mentos. Fresh maker with the pencil, ink pen, keyboard or typewriter. Rhyme style is off the deep end. Make use of space, bars elites. Let your brain escape, control alt deletes. Crunch the numbers on a separate tab. When the world shifts, you prepared and ready for that. No need to backspace, even when your external drive breaks into momentum, arrow pointed the right way. Up like helium, concrete mycelium. Jeans with the crease in them, dreams be like sink or swim. Hit or miss, we be swinging big for the fences. Reach escape velocity when the hook kicks in.
His redeeming qualities, my esteem and all of me. I'll live while planting this olive tree. Time lapses I design while relaxed. Time lapses I design while relaxed. His redeeming qualities, my esteem and all of me. I'll live while planting this olive tree. Time lapses I design while relaxed. Time lapses I design while relaxed.
velocity, opportune prospect to hop and leave. At least not on leash, capiche. My raps bleed honesty. Reading on chronometry, currently no chronicle on the tree. Just tonic water in me, pondering the father as I breathe. Grandpa, the times tick, stand tall. The lands fall when your mind is. I demand all to define bliss. Non-timer at the time shifts. Sound sciences in the songs that I fix. Playing xylophone on your spinal bone. Poindexters aren't privy to the primal tone. Recited for the ink disappears. Non-seated position, thinking of my peers. Force portal vortex, a more soul, more set. Sign passage to define why I'm at this. It's redeeming qualities, my esteem and all of me. I live while planting this olive tree. Time lapses I design while relax. Time lapses I design while relax. His redeeming qualities, my esteem and all of me. I'll live while planting this olive tree. Time lapses I design while relax. Time lapses I design while relax.
Assume that Dolly was keeping track of his work the way some artists do. And that was not true.
Produced by Mae Dolly, Jack Heat. 2 on 2 with 9-foot hoops. All they want is alley-oops. Just throw it up for me. Just throw it up, homie. Just throw it up, homie. Just throw it up, homie. Just throw it up for me. Your life on film, the highlight reel. Shacked in the fool in your twilight years. Rewind like Nas to your time in the crib. Food on your beard, drool down your lip. Now who is your friend in the end? When you see the grim reaper in the rear view mirror creeping and you can't bend the corner on him. Keep moving forward, touch the corner, you're coming. I'll be there in a second, but never show up. Always third or second, but never the first. Let's combine our energy and then blow up. But you can't connect with everyone, it just don't work. Still practice dribbling and shooting drills. Skills mastered in the classroom and the field. Build from scratch, years of blood, sweat, and tears. Now tacky is here, so pass me the pills. Throw it up. It's 2 on 2 with 9-foot hoops. All they want is alley-oops. Just throw it up. It's 2 on 2 with 9-foot hoops. All they want is alley-oops. Just throw it up for me. Just throw it up, homie. Just throw it up, homie. Just throw it up, homie. Just throw it up for me. Just throw it up, homie. Just throw it up, homie. Just throw it up, homie. Just throw it up.
All these questions, here's the answer. A-Walls name they try to slander. Blocks open, I'm out, run routes like Barry Sanders. Mind over matter, don't listen to chitter chatter. It's going down, down, baby. Better know your country grammar. Pockets got fatter, circle got smaller. Snakes get revealed with the skills of the lawnmower. Respect my travel down the corridor. Reach the room, kick my feet up, locking the door. Used to think skinny, now these big clothes worn. Now my ego smashing like the Hulk with shorts torn. When I get mad, I turn green. Niggas say they want smoke, nah, they just want weed. Cause they weak, the sap with the stems and seeds. We the chronic, DRE and D-O-double-G. Fast break, alley-oop, we can throw it up. Mayweather with the reverse, double pump, dump. Get off,
It's 2 on 2 with 9-foot hoops. All they want is alley-oops. Just throw it up. It's 2 on 2 with 9-foot hoops. All they want is alley-oops. Just throw it up, homie. 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 Just throw it up, homie.
That's how we bring them back in. Yes, indeed. For part 2 of the show, March 9th. Make sure you hit that subscribe. That was just a freestyle medley. All right.
Booyaka. Booyaka.
Looks like, hold on, let me make sure.
Booyaka, booyaka, booyaka.
I can see the red. All right, well, why don't you introduce, what are you doing there? What the fuck was that? He's over here using all the technologies to light himself up.
That's toast. That's
Yeah.
toast.
I don't even know. I didn't even know you could do that over there. Well, why don't you go ahead and we got him coming back, sitting down, and go ahead and bring in your question.
Yeah, today I wanted to discuss what would your younger selves hate about your current selves. What are you doing right now that your younger selves, even if it's like misconstrued, misunderstanding, hate, whatever, just what are you doing right now that your younger self might look at you like, yo, what are you doing right now? We could have reversed it, but that's too easy. So I wanted to do it this way. It's too easy to look at our younger selves and critique and criticize what we was doing in our youth. But I wanted to flip it and do a little reversal. Like, what would you do if your younger self pulled up on you right now? You know, what would he say to you?
Be disappointed. Call me a burnout.
Mm-hmm.
How did you burn out? We have so much potential. How do we get to where I'm at right now to where you're at? Like, what did you do wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My shit hit me today. It hit me earlier. It was I used to always go with my head, the intellectual choice, rather than the gut instinct. The younger version of myself wouldn't understand the gut choices that my current self is making. I think back then I was so cerebral and intellectual, I didn't associate the gut being a part of the brain. I feel like they weren't working in unison. They're working independently. And I feel like with that youth, I was just all in the head. That was it. And then as I got older, I started to understand that the gut has clout, that the gut has a ability to it's almost like your second sense. Like it's a way to give you intel on things even before they happen. And I discredited that for so long. And I feel like my younger self didn't even have the capacity to understand that, and that it would have come across as hate. Why are you doing it that way? Why are you doing it like this? It'd be hard to tell somebody like that, like, yo, I just have that feeling, versus this logically worked out on paper, black and white. And I'm dealing with that now, where it's heart and stomach versus mind, and trying to get those to work in tandem, because I've noticed that they have the capacity to operate without each other. But I noticed that things are different when they kind of work in unison.
Yeah, in tandem.
Yeah, that was the main thing I noticed. That I think my young self would be confronting me about that. Like, I wouldn't have made those choices. I wouldn't be sitting like how you be sitting. Like, I feel the same way. Like, the younger version of me would look like, yo, you're washed, you're not doing enough, as to where the older me would look at him and go, well, this is kind of how I gather my intel, is by the sit and the pause. Like, the young version of me didn't know how to take the pause and how to just sit still. And the older version of me is appreciating stillness and taking advantage of what I received during the stillness. That way, when I pop back out, you know, I got something loaded. As to where back then I was just flying off. It was kind of shooting from the hip at all time and just relying on whatever was there.
No, I'm like, My younger self might understand, or I think actually, I think that analytical mind I might be able to explain it, some of the decisions, even if they were gut decisions. If there are some that worked out favorably, um, so yeah, there are some that I could say that, you know, these did work out favorably, but it's the bad decisions that I think would be the critique points. I mean, your younger self's not gonna, unless we were extremely successful, they're not gonna be pleased. I don't think. Like, if I'm being honest, my younger self would
Well, even just habits, just like little quirks that you gain. Like even for me, I got a million of them. Like cycling. Like my older self wouldn't see me on a bike wearing lycra. Like I'd be out there with my shit hanging out there, yo. Like my old self wouldn't picture that, but I have tons of that. I have a lot of versions of that. That's why I brought it up, because I do a lot of what my younger self would be like, yo, you bugging right now. Like I don't walk through the mall like that, wearing that stuff. And I'm like, the 2000 version of me wouldn't be caught dead in that shit. So just stuff like that.
I got stuff like that for sure.
Yeah.
You came back.
A lot.
He's back. Hold on. Let me.
Yeah, my phone actually died. I thought I had it plugged in, charging the whole time. Apparently, I don't know how to do that.
That's all right. Well, hey, jump on in, and I guess you can.
So Mae's framing it as things that we do now that our younger selves would either like or dislike.
Well, it wasn't things. His original question.
The deep version of mine was, back then I was so caught up in the cerebral and the intellectual, I only went with my mind. And my older self now goes with his gut instinct and his stomach. Like back then I didn't know that those things work in tandem. And back then the young version of me would have conflict with the new version of me, because I deal with that now. Like I deal with intuition and gut instinct, as to where back then it was pure logic, intellect, like black and white on the paper stuff. So that was mine, was just.
Yeah. I think I'm more free now than I was as a kid.
Yeah. Like I lead more with that.
That's one thing I was going to say is I think that I don't think as a younger self ever envisioned that I didn't think of myself as artistic. But now that's literally the thing that I think defines me.
Yeah,
I can't think of myself outside of art. I don't even have an existence without that. Yeah. But when I was younger, I didn't think I was artistic. I didn't think I was creative. I mean, I think I knew it deep down. I think I knew I had some things to offer, some talents, but I wasn't in tune with them. I wasn't in touch with them. I wasn't able to harness them. I wasn't even able to define them or speak on them or recognize them. So I think, but if we're flipping it and saying, is there things that we also don't like about our current selves that our younger selves might be disappointed in? I mean, I can go there too.
Yeah, that's the main thing I wanted, was if your young version showed up and he wanted the smoke, what would he want to smoke with?
What would he hold? What would he put my feet to the fire? How would he hold me accountable? Yeah. I think about that often. I think that's important to think about. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good meditation.
For me personally, it's just when I when I just lose my temper, when I fail my kids, when I'm not the best father I can be, you know. And of course, you can't do that 100% of the time. So the times that you don't do it, I still feel disappointed in myself.
Got it.
You know, and I don't, um, you know, but my younger self was also more fiery than myself is now too. So I have to give myself grace.
Yeah, so he would almost pull up like, "Yo, I see you. You're a little more reserved than me, but I still see you like you're there still."
Yeah, like I think he would be like, you should be going harder, you
Yeah,
know, on the system. But I
yeah,
also think he would be disappointed when I like get when you know, sometimes when I'm short with my children or something like that. I don't think my younger self would appreciate that about me now.
yeah. That's kind of what mine was based in, was the whole rest thing. Like the mind is always running as to where the gut, depending on whether it's bombarded with food and digestion. I mean, when your stomach's empty and you got time to sit with your feelings and your gut instinct, I feel like a lot of those things happen in stillness and being calm. And when you're so fiery and out there, sometimes you don't get the message. Like you got to be quiet. And I'm like, the younger me would be mad at how much I've turned into much like a grandpa. He'd be like, I think the young version of me would be like on that old head shit. Like you're an old head, but I think they're confusing that with the meditation thing. I think that's what we've been doing this whole time. That spacing out or just sitting in the rocking chair or seeming distant. I think a lot of that is the meditation and, you know, the inner workings, the processing, getting the message, the answer to move with the next step. I feel like the young version of me would be like, nigga, why are you staring at the clouds just for 30 minutes? Like, why aren't you doing this, that? And the new version of me is like, yo, me staring off in the distance, like that's the gold. Like
Yeah.
I work for those moments.
Yeah, I like that.
For the moments when it's like silent, it's so noisy that my shit comes when it's quiet.
I'll give I want to give too, like I think my younger self would sometimes give me some props too, in the sense that, I mean, you know, when I was like, for instance, in fourth grade, I didn't think I would ever be a member of the Tacoma hip hop community as an artist. At the best, I was like, man, I hope I know some hip hop artists and get to go to shows and just get to appreciate the scene. But I also think that, well, what, you know what I mean? I don't think I envisioned myself doing anything publicly when I was a kid.
It's just
So I
rotating
think
your camera round and round in circles.
so I think I would give myself some. I think I would think that was cool about me as a grown up.
Yeah.
You know, when I was in third grade, I didn't think I would be any type of public poet or anything like that.
So that's I think a good juxtaposition for you and me, because I'm at the opposite spectrum. Like at that point, at fourth grade, yeah, that was kind of when I was starting to well, everyone kind of had raps at that point, but I think between fourth and fifth grade, yeah, I changed my name from the Whiz Kid to Wicked.
Young? You did it that young?
Yeah, like I was Wicked. Starting, it was at least in fifth grade and starting sixth, because I remember going back to Al Davies, kind of that first year, sixth grade, going to Mason and going back and that was back when you'd have everyone sign your binder and have a bunch of shit all over your binder and in your books. You'd have your books wrapped with the brown paper bag, or they would give you. You remember when they used to pass out the book covers? But they would be like specific. They would be like they would like pass a bunch out to everyone, but they would be like for the school, like Stadium or Wilson Ramp, like generic book covers. But on the back they was blank, so we would always just flip the book covers over backwards, put them on, so we had the white canvas to work with, to where all your books, you didn't even really put math on the book. You knew what book it was by the different, designs on the front. Like, oh, my math book kind of got, maybe you did write math in, graffiti letters, but your books were designed up front to back. So I remember starting, in going to middle school, definitely, because, by the time I got out of middle school, I had already had my symbol. I had tattooed my own symbol. I made a tattoo gun out of a remote control car motor. And I tattooed my Wicked symbol before I was out of middle school.
Wow. Yeah, you're a different kid. You're a different kind of kid.
So that's where I juxtapose where he's saying he never thought he would be where he's at. My younger self would even be disappointed at that. The level of achievement that I've reached in hip hop. Like
you thought yeah. That's interesting.
And I wasn't talented. That wasn't even the thing. It was.
Well, you were in a way. You were.
No,
whether it was refined or developed. But what about this? Personally, where do you think? Like, I thought maybe if I was like 14, when I was 14, and you would have said, what were you doing when you were like 46, 47, 48? I would have just been like, I would just be maybe a journalist, maybe a music nerd, but I wouldn't be holding down like a family or anything like that. I would just be like, I wouldn't say I would be unhappy, but I would just be like, I'd be on hermit status, sort of. So sometimes I gotta be like, I think my younger self would be proud that I have friends, that I have a community, that I have a group that loves me, that I love, that I have a family that's intact and going at it together. So sometimes I think, I think that my younger self would give me props for that. I don't think when I was younger, I don't think I had that in me. I was just going to be like, I'm just going to be some old hip hop nerd or something like that, which I am. But I just felt, oh man, I'm just going to like move to Brooklyn and get an apartment and just live in a city and just do that, be a solo type of cat.
Now, my younger self, I guess it would give me kudos for, I guess, not being a fucking deadbeat and actually being there for my kids. Yeah, I'm not gonna win Father of the Year at any of the years of my fatherhoodness, but shit, Tiani will be 18 here in a week and a half. So I've served my duty. I didn't relinquish my duty. I think that, but I guess that would be like just kind of, okay, you weren't a deadbeat. Now, if we looked further, now my younger self would definitely, I guess, look at Tiani and Isis and be like, dang, like, looking at them like, are you sure you were their dad? Did you really, you know?
Like, what do you mean, though? What do you mean? In what way?
Well, I guess for Tiani, I guess it'd be more evident just because of her background in gymnastics and things like that. But yeah, the direction where they're going and where they're currently at. Yeah, Tiani's getting 4.0. She's about to be, she's graduating this year. So, like, yeah, I never.
So in a way that in a good way, in that you're impressed with them.
Yeah, my younger self would be like, they're fucking dope. Now I don't know about you. I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
That's still good though. I like that. Like, yeah, that's what it really matters. Like, yeah, older self, you whatever about you, but yeah, your children are pretty killing it.
Yeah,
that's better, really.
I don't know. That's something you'd have to ask my younger self. Hey, younger self, would you sacrifice getting to where you want to be in life? But, maybe, like you said, being a hermit somewhere and not having a family, or, seeing them.
Here, Eli Tala, come in here. Come in here.
Look, he wants to.
Let's see what they.
He's gonna line them up.
It's about
line them up like they're getting a whooping.
Yeah.
It's about being a service that's thankless. The young version of us would they would do all these things, but they would want a lot of praise for that. And nowadays it's about just doing that with expecting nothing in return.
All right, you too.
Hi.
What are we asking them? What do they want to see in the future themselves?
I don't know what you got. You went and grabbed the kids. Like, I thought you had developed your question.
How do you want to see? What do you want to see yourselves as in the future, in terms of what type of person do you want to be?
I would say respectful, like nice.
What about in terms of what type of?
Look, that's even dope.
Like
that
job?
She's just starts with some real
Like, you mean job?
What do you call it? Morality, respectful, nice.
Yeah.
Like that's dope to start with that.
What about you? Yeah, what type of? Do you see yourself as a family person, as a successful person, as a
like a family person?
What do you? Yeah.
But like, I want to like.
What's the world even gonna?
See, I don't know what the world's gonna be like, but like right now, I want to go to trade school, and I also want to go to college. So, like, I feel like I'm gonna be in school for a while, and I want to live on the farm. So, like, I guess like kind of a working man. Like, I'm gonna be on the farm. I'm gonna be doing Christmas trees and that kind of stuff. So, but hopefully I'll have a family. So kind of like
But
a family
you got a
man.
plan of yourself in what's already happening.
Yeah.
What about you?
I would say be like, can I own 50 dogs? That's 50. You know, you can only have.
What would disappoint y'all about you if you were to become? What would be disappointing?
If I don't.
Not anything obvious. Like, obviously, I know if you grew up and were unhealthy or unhappy.
Like, if I failed, like if I flunked out of college or like trade school, or like I just couldn't like pass and like that.
So unsuccessful.
Yeah, I guess. Or like if I lost the farm, stuff like that.
Lost the farm, Eli. What are you doing to lose the farm? Dang.
That's early pressure.
Look, I want to know, since you want to go to trade school, what are you trying to go for?
Probably electrician, maybe a carpenter, but I want to be an electrician.
Yeah, do that. Sign up now.
Word.
I want to move into the farm. There's a trade school about a mile away. It's called Clover Park Trade School, and it's a really good one. It's really close too. I can just walk over there.
Yes.
Where?
Well, you got a couple more years before you're done with high school, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if you was really about it, your pops could figure out a way to get you in there early.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, true. As a junior or senior, like a what do they call that?
Running start.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man,
Coming
the
up.
earlier you get in there, because electrician, their stuff is a strict schedule.
Yeah.
You can look it up and see in year 1, year 2, year 3, when you get your bumps up, how many extra hours of studying you have to do to graduate to this level, to next level. But yeah, once you get up there, you're getting paid. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
And I think it's a helpful thing too. Like I could like do stuff from the house. I can do stuff for like my parents. I can just do stuff. Like I feel like that's a helpful thing to know how to do. It's pretty good to fix your stuff around the house.
This will really put myself on blast. Okay, here, one last question. And then I'll send them away. Okay. Your kids know you. Who your parents, assuming your parents, they know your parents, and they may even know what street you grew up on. You know everything about your childhood in a way. So, you guys know my mother. You know my father. You know what home I grew up in.
Kinda.
You knew what values were taught to me.
Yeah.
In what ways knowing all that,
Yeah.
do I disappoint you? And in what ways do I please you?
Okay.
Go first.
No, you go first. Okay, I'll go first. So like I don't know. I feel like it's good. Like whenever I talk to grandma or like papa or anything like that, or Yaya, they always talk about how you had a good work ethic. Like you stayed organized, do all that kind of stuff. I feel like that's good. I like that. And then I guess they always said you had like a short temper too. Yaya and like grandma and everything, they always said you had like a short temper and you would just like get really mad and stuff. So like I guess you still do that kind of.
See, that's the real shit right there.
Hey, you said it yourself, so
Yeah,
we're aware.
Okay.
I would say for like you please me, you're very inspiring. I would say, and like you never get bored. You always find something to do.
Oh yeah, you just do random stuff like just paint
stuff, and you're just like dropping paint everywhere.
Yeah, sounds all right. You're ruining dishes with paint, all that kind of stuff.
And then to disappoint, I don't know. Sometimes you yell, but you don't mean to because you're used to like being on stage with a loud voice. So maybe that, but not really.
The rap voice. The rap voice. That's not always the best parenting voice, I've noticed.
Hey.
All right.
It's all part of the script. Hey, appreciate y'all. Build and destroy future representers. Well, that was a good special guest moment. Well, shoot.
True. Thanks for letting me bring him on.
For sure. Well, I mean, that was a good topic or question for me. So, at least I'm not the only one with a youth that might not be as 100% liking my whole life decisions.
I think it's the nature of
It's
family
life.
relations and parent relations.
Well, it's existing. Unless you, I think ultimately, unless you find some like huge astronomical success in life, you're probably always going to have some sort of disappointment in, where you're at and where you want it to be. But I wouldn't say necessarily I'm disappointed now where I'm at. I'm just saying my younger self would be like, yo, you know, for me right now, I'm just like, yo, this is where I landed. Like, I'm gonna move up from here, from this direction. You know, like I said, I'm at the last leg of a lap of as far as parenthood. So unless, you know, some random girl comes along and
stepfather dumb.
yeah, nah, I'm not gonna be doing that again. So I mean, at this point, yeah, I'm getting to the hermit mode, but I want to put it forth rather than I want to get back to that youthful side of things where you're saying where you're much more active, how your kids are saying you are, like you don't get bored, you're not sitting around. Like I'm much more getting to the Mae, looking at the clouds for 30 minutes type of thing, or sitting in the rocking chair not getting anything accomplished, not even reading a book, just like actually thinking. And I really need to get more into active action, you know, production, because I can think, like I can sit there and think and not do shit, and it doesn't, to me it doesn't produce anything. Like it's like an inception dream. So yeah, I'm just trying to get back to production, reducing up my amount of actual time to obligations, so I have more time to produce and, you know, have a good show for our audience, have some good clothing for our region, or shoot across the U.S. Shoot, we got some hilltop shirts in Germany that got picked up, so we need some more designs. Get these characters flushed out. I'm ready to go ahead and invest in another animation here soon. I'd like to have a project to, you know, even though it's only going to be 1 to 2 minutes, at least have some sort of new music going behind it. But
we're getting close to summer too. If we want to try to find a good person with the outdoor PA, and we can always hop out and show them.
Cam got the PA. I did go and test it out.
So that's actual factual ready to go.
Yeah, I went over there that time, and it took us a minute to get it going.
You should go over there and just get it. You should go over there and just go ahead and get it. So, and put it in, you know, your spot in the back, so it's ready. So we, and we should maybe, you know, run through a set a few times with it, and make sure it's proper. And then do that shit. And just start bombing them outside once it gets to be 70 degrees.
I mean, I'm down to do all of that except for
you got a merch table. We got paintings.
Yeah, I'm down for all of that except for going to get it and transporting it. Cause that shit's hella heavy.
Oh let's go. I've got the.
Yeah, that shit's hella heavy, and I don't want to put it, and I don't want to stash that in that back, cause it's in the rainy season, and it's not like when it's not being actively used, you know. So
he's got a big one. It's big like that.
Well, actually, no. It's in a case. Yeah, it is big and it's hella heavy, but the speakers that go with it, it has actual speakers that go with it. And I don't.
We'll discuss it off air, but I mean, we got to keep it somewhere at your spot. Somewhere, man. You got to have room somewhere for it.
I mean, yeah, it's not about not having the room. It's about it getting damaged or potentially stolen.
Maybe
That's
we
all
should
I'm
go
worried
in on
about.
one. All of us.
Shoot, let's talk about it. Run the plan up.
Yeah. All right.
I'm down. But I mean, again, that's available when we're ready. So yeah, it's more about planning out dates and times. I mean, I know we're still in the spring. We probably want to wait till it gets to that.
Street fair. We know we want to do street fair.
Yeah, that's the end of summer though. So that's the end of August. We got plenty of time for that.
Yeah, you think, but it's damn near the beginning of summer, so.
No, you're right to start planning out and rehearsing and getting some actual reps in. No, I'm with you. Listen, man, I'm always down to perform.
Yeah, because that's a date we know we're gonna want to do. We know we're gonna want to do that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your battery's about to die now.
You said what?
I've seen your battery come out. Your danger battery.
Oh, that was the big camera did die, but I got my webcam for some reason ain't working. There we go. But yeah, I mean, I'm always down to perform. So we line up any shows, and if we got to, have our own hosting, whatever we got to do, I'm always down. And, so yeah, I'm gonna close this down. We're gonna wrap up the show because we got things to talk about we can't discuss on air. So thank you everyone for showing up today. The Build and Destroy show. We'll be back at you next Sunday. Around